let's take a look at the numbers. One thing that was really surprising to me and has been surprising for the first 2 weeks is the lack of involvement, specifically with Kyle Juszczyk and George Kittle, two guys that had monster games Sunday night. And that goes back to Kyle Shanahan as well. Why is he not getting these guys more involved? It's maddening to me.
Kittle and who?
Juszczyk.
Well, I mean, they got Juszczyk involved a lot against the Packers.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about before that.
Before?
Because you see everything that he can do on the football field. He touched the ball one time against the Lions, 3 times against the Eagles, and every time he touched the ball against the Packers, something good happened. Why don't you, Kyle Shanahan, utilize the highest paid fullback in the league more when he's such a weapon? He lined up at quarterback. He lined up in the slot. He lined up at receiver, running back. He was doing everything.
It just seems like the Niners' game plans and play calling on offense the first 3 weeks have been totally uninspiring and totally uninspiring. I mean, the offense isn't – they scored 29 points, but as you said, one drive was Trenton Cannon. I mean, they're averaging like no yards on offense per play. It's just they're really struggling. And it's like it's just simple questions. Where's the creativity? What in 3 games point to something where you've been like, wow, like 2019 when they went to the Super Bowl, week 2 against Cincinnati, they had the touchdown throw to Marquise Goodwin. Was wide open. They had the Dante Pettis throw.
Pass,
they were getting like huge plays in the passing game and the running game. Big runs from Matt Breida and Raheem Mostert. Where are the big plays? There is no big plays in this offense. The big plays are when Kittle or Debo catches the ball and runs for like 20 yards. But that's all on them. Those are
For the 49ers that rely so heavily on the explosive run, you're not going to get that until Mitchell comes back, Elijah Mitchell. And something I've been advocating for is bring back Matt Breida. He has struggled at every other stop. He struggled in Miami to get on the field. He's struggling to get on the field right now with the Bills. He's not going to cost you anything.
Like
you can give a 2023 7th-round pick at that. I'm sure the Bills would take that. If you just – he's familiar with the system. He's a home run threat. That's exactly what this team needs. That's a move I would make. It's a move I would make. Let's talk about the team's identity, though, or lack thereof, if you will, because it's concerning. It's concerning. If you're 3 weeks into the season, is this team going to be dominant in the trenches? After last Sunday night, I don't know. It's hard to say that. Are they going to be as great as they were defensively despite all the injuries last season? Hard to say that. You really don't know what the plan at quarterback is going to be for the remainder of the season. After the bye week, it's highly likely Trey Lance comes in, especially if the 49ers lose these next 2 games to the Seahawks and the Cardinals. Your run game is gone. Your physicality is being questioned, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I love George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, so I don't want to talk about the offense lacking physicality. In the run game, yes. But, I mean, you have playmakers. What kind of football team is this? It's really tough to gauge right now.
The kind of football team it looks like to me is a team that's plays half a game. I mean, honestly, they played really well against the Lions for the first half, and then the second half was like, what the hell was that?
Exactly.
And then the last 2 weeks, they didn't show up until the final drive of the first half. Last 2 weeks. I don't know what that is. I mean, kind of reminded me of like the Warriors started doing that at the end of their run. They kind of only showed up at like the third quarter. They'd mess around, but that's an 82-game season with playoffs. They were pacing themselves. Like that's not what the Niners aren't pacing themselves. They just look kind of like a sloppy, mediocre team right now. And of course they can improve. There's a lot of time for them to get their stuff together. But right now they look like a sloppy, mediocre team that took it down to the wire against the freaking Lions and Eagles.
No identity. And that's what's so frustrating, and it's tough to pinpoint. Your coach, who's an offensive genius, supposedly should be able to carry you in moments like this, draw something up, scheme something up. So I'm getting frustrated with Shanahan. And this game coming up on Sunday is so important. After this game, the Seahawks play the Rams. The Seahawks, you cannot let them want this game more than you. 'Cause both teams have so much at stake in a Week 4 game. You're playing in the loaded NFC West where every single game carries so much weight, especially these division games. And I'm concerned how this team is going to come out and perform. The way that they come out of the gates has been huge. against both the Lions and the Packers and led to things not going as they should have or were expected to go.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this. They got the Rams after that. Wow. You're right. So you're saying if they lose to the Niners, they're looking at
1-4. 1-4. Their season's done. You're not going to get into the playoffs in the NFC West. It's
important to understand that this is the Seahawks Super Bowl right here this week. This is their Super Bowl.
Yep.
And if the Niners don't approach this game with that same level of seriousness, they will freaking lose.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I wrote a similar column in regards to the 49ers, kind of flip-flopping it. And the Niners were in the Seahawks positions last year where they played the Dolphins. And I was just adamant that if the 49ers don't beat the Dolphins, they are not going to get into the playoffs. Like, this is the season. It sounds silly, week 5, week 6, whatever it was. Yeah. You need to win this game. And I want to say it was the week before they played the Rams. I'm kind of having a hard time piecing together last year's schedule. I want to say they lost to the Dolphins, then beat the Rams the following week, even though Garoppolo, he didn't play that second half because his ankle was still bothering him or whatever. But the 49ers got annihilated by the Dolphins.
Right. And Dolphins and Rams.
The Niners got annihilated, and their season was pretty much done right in that moment. And
because they were 2-3 at that point.
Exactly.
Which is what they're staring down this year. They were 2-3 last year. They're 2-1. Honestly, hold on real quick.
Yeah.
They were 2-1 last year. Then they lost their next 2 games.
To the Eagles, the Sunday night game when they were like 13-point favorites with Nick Mullins at quarterback. Then the Dolphins game happened.
That's right.
And remember, this was a team coming
very
off.
Important stretch.
That was an important stretch, and that was the team coming off the Super Bowl. And again, I had lofty expectations. I thought somewhat realistic expectations that this team was Super Bowl caliber on both sides of the ball. And then the Mostert injury happened. I feel like he is such an important piece on offense because he provides those explosive plays that they rely on so heavily, which is why I didn't get it for the life of me, why people were advocating to trade Mostert because of his $4 million salary or whatever it was Manning. And then the Verrett injury, I kind of taken a step back on this. I was comfortable going into the rest of the season with Mosley and Lenore and Norman. And do the 49ers win that game with Verrett and just his wit and the way that he's been able to shut down receivers? I actually might have taken a little bit of an L there saying that I don't think the Verrett injury will cost the team a win. It might have against the Packers.
I think it is. He can go toe-to-toe. Let's put it this way. On the first play of the final drive, instead of calling quarters, you can call man-to-man coverage with confidence if it's Jason Verrett.
Yeah.